Welcome back to the High Ticket AI Systems Podcast. Everyone, please welcome the one and only Mr. David Arato. David, how you doing today, my friend?
Great. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Now, I ask everyone this question: what is your offer, and who do you guys sell to, or what do you sell, and who is it to?
Right to it. I love it. So we create SEO and AEO focused content for law firms. We work both as a white label partner to digital marketing agencies that have law firm clients and directly with law firms.
Interesting, interesting. Which do you prefer, working directly with attorneys or white label services?
So historically, we have been mostly, I'd say about 60 to 70%, a white label provider. So often the end user doesn't even know we exist. So this is what happens. Agencies get law firm clients. They tend not to be attorney owned, right? Or they don't have attorney leadership, and they can build a beautiful website and they understand technical SEO and they can do backlinking and outreach, et cetera. But the objection that they always get from their clients, or not always, often get from their clients, is who's going to write the content? You're not a lawyer. You don't know the law. You don't know compliance. Like, there are little things about legal marketing that people don't even, you wouldn't know it if you didn't know it. Most states, you can't call yourself a specialist or an expert, even if you've been doing it for 20 years, right? But you need to be a lawyer. You don't need to be a lawyer, but most non-lawyers don't know that, right? So they outsource content to us, if that makes sense. We are behind the curtain.
You're attorney led. I think on our first conversation, you said that you went to law school, got the degree. You said, "Forget that. I'm going into business."
Yeah, I'm not a licensed attorney. I have the JD. I use that professionally. My wife is co-owner of the business. She is an attorney licensed in Missouri. So we are attorney owned technically. But like there's a lot of legal education acumen in the organization. To go back to what you said, we are working more and more with law firms directly these days than as a white label partner, both strategically to own the relationship with the end client. There's a lot of risk if you have all your eggs in one basket, obviously. And AI visibility has given us an opportunity to kind of, I'm going to say, distinguish content marketing from SEO writ large. So we're getting our clients into the AI overviews and AI results with just content, not the rest of the SEO package. So we're kind of breaking that off into its own service offering for law firms.
But talk to us about that. When you say content opposed to like the other aspects,
Sure.
how could you mean?
So I think you can divide SEO into three pillars: technical SEO, backlinking, and content marketing.
Content marketing.
So content marketing, specifically what we do is we create text-based content. So again, historically, we've been in business since 2012. Historically, it was a ton of blogging and press releases and practice area pages and homepage content. We are getting into video as more and more video or content being produced as video, and it's indexed differently than it used to be. But that content is what Google is crawling and returning as results to people who are searching for legal search services. Also, now LLMs, Claude, ChatGPT, the infrastructure that they're running on is ingesting this content and using it to create its answers to user queries as well. So basically, there's a huge content machine, a huge content beast that is hungry all the time, and we're feeding it.
Gotcha. And if I were an attorney and I wanted to work with you directly, what would I get as a total service package and like ballpark cost?
Well, let me share my screen. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to give you a proposal. So we have different packages. And we're playing with these all the time, especially so this working directly with law firms. Like, law firms have approached us in the past and we've said yes and we've worked with them, but we're really focused on creating productizing our service in a way
Smart.
that's more attractive to law firms. So we're working on different packages. They can look anything like this. You're going to get 8 blogs. We're going to do keyword research to figure out what keywords to target, what's high volume and feasible to rank for. You're going to get the actual content. So that could look like this: 8 blogs and 2 practice area pages and 5 content refreshes. And what that means is we go in and we refresh existing content to make it more attractive to the LLMs and to Google.
It's important. Yes.
Absolutely. And we can totally get into that. We can nerd out about that all you want. And then you're going to get a report at the end of the day. There's a client platform. We're looking at anything on the low end from $2,400, $2,500 to 5,000. And often these services we're not trying to compete with your SEO agency or the people handling your website. We're trying to be additive, right? We're trying to add an additional service that they don't offer that is focused on creating content at scale that is hyper targeted, hyper personalized to your law firm, and definitely not AI slop. So, when AI came out 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I guess now almost, not came out, when ChatGPT launched and took it took the attention of the SEO community, I thought we were out of business. But the truth is, more content's being made than ever before, and it's even harder to stand out. So good content is a premium value right now.
I do agree. And someone else mentioned this. They were in the PR industry, and they said if everyone uses AI to write your content, then no one is going to differentiate themselves from anyone in the marketplace. You're going to be an AI slot person, and like people are going to
100%.
lose respect for you almost, opposed to having your own bots.
Absolutely. I think I heard one of my colleagues and a partner of ours say on a podcast, so I'm stealing his line. What is Google's incentive to even index articles that have been written hundreds or thousands of times before? And the output from ChatGPT or Claude is by design generic. Like that is how these operate. Like these LLMs are. I mean, it's a little reductionist to say this, but they're like highly advanced predictive text systems. So if they are just pumping out content that has been written 100 times before, it's not going to rank. It's not going to be different. We all have access to the same tools. So, and my new slogan has been zero effort content has zero value.
Mm.
Either of us could go to ChatGPT today and pump out 50 or 500 articles on a topic we know nothing about and publish them and try and rank for HVAC services in Los Angeles, right? But like, why would Google rank that website? It's not going to. It's actually going to tank it, you know?
So let's talk about that and what your approach is when it comes to actually ranking for attorneys.
Sure, absolutely. We subscribe to Google's guidance on demonstrating EEAT,
What is
experience.
that?
Here we
Okay.
go. We're getting into the alphabet soup. So sites that deal with your money or your life, YMYL, so finance, medicine, law, need to demonstrate expertise, experience, authority, and trust. EEAT in the industry parlance. So you go to ChatGPT and you say, give me 1,000 words on car accident law, or write me 1,000 word article on what to do after a car accident. Well, first of all, it's probably going to pull very similar article to what my company has created over the past decade and a half. Like it's going to look a lot like that because we've done a lot of those articles in the past. And it's not going to demonstrate any of those things because AI does not have experience, authority, and trust. So all the content we're creating infuses. So another person in my industry, I'm stealing from Conrad Sam. I'm going to shout you out right now. Do what the bots can. Like a bot hasn't practiced law, right? A bot hasn't been in court. So infuse your content with firsthand experience, for example, biographical information, professional experience, professional publications. Like have the content demonstrate those four pillars of EEAT in whatever way makes sense. Like it doesn't make sense in a technical piece to talk about maybe your biography that much, but in your About Us page, like lean heavy into your personal experience and professional experience as an attorney, right? So like demonstrating those four elements in a piece looks different to every piece that we're creating, but that's how you stand out from.
No, I love that perspective. Think if you just rely on LLMs or AI to do all of your thinking for you, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not going to grow as a person or a human, etc. I do think that we can utilize LLMs that I'm sure you would agree to like speed up the process, but don't rely on the final output. We have to have human element, 100%, no questions asked.
Well, then where's the value in that, right? That's what it comes down to. Like if we all have the same output, none of it's going to differentiate. So it truly has no value. The cost of creating shitty content has gone to zero, right? The cost of creating great content is more than it used to be because it's like more human intervention than it ever was.
Yeah. When you are creating content for attorneys, is it primarily for their website to help them rank, or is it anything like with LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe? Because those also help with LLMs.
That's a good question. Historically, no, we have stuck to, and it wasn't strategic. It's a result of our partnerships. Like, so with these big SEO agencies, like we really followed what the market was ordering from us, right? We have big clients that are doing a high volume business with us. So we are servicing them in the way that they want to be serviced. So again, historically, it's been SEO focused content. So on-site content or guest posts in order to attract backlinks or
Yeah.
press releases back when that was a game. And it's not like, I think those links are now, often no follow.
Yeah.
Press releases were a big deal for many, many years there. So typically it's been SEO focused content. That being said, I mentioned we're getting into video. We are getting into LinkedIn. We are going to get into social. Those are things we're just expanding our service offering because as we work more, and this speaks more to our business structure than it does to our services. It's funny when you've been in business for 15 years and you take your same core service and like realize the different market segment has a completely different set of pain points. So you got to repackage it. It's the same product, a service, I should say. It's the same service, but you got to package it differently. Anyway, like when we approach or we get approached by a law firm, or if we approach a law firm, they often say to us, okay, great, you can handle our blog content and our practice area page content, but can you do social for us? Like they want the whole package, right? And with our agency clients, often our services were duplicative of things that they were already offering. So like They're like, just give us the blog content. We don't even want to hear about the reporting part of it. We're handling that internally. The law firms may not have that infrastructure in place there.
Yeah, because I feel like they're busy being attorneys, right? I mean, sure, they
100%.
might make a random post on LinkedIn or X or Twitter, whatever the hell you wanna call it, randomly, sporadically, but when it comes to structured content, scheduled posts, actually, like, real thought leadership from the attorney's perspective, I feel like they're not actively doing that, you know?
They're not, and they don't have time to do it. And the worst thing you can do is have your I think it's like they get themselves into a, and I understand, like I went to law school, so I understand the ethical issues here. You can't have incorrect information on your website. Like that could be a bar complaint. It could even be a malpractice lawsuit in certain situations. If a client, for example, if a current client relied on outdated or poor or incorrect information on your website and took action that affected their legal rights, that could be malpractice. So you don't want your paralegal doing it. You don't want because you still have to review it, right? And then you don't want your associate doing it because your associate should be out there billing, right? Making money. So who can do it? Not a copywriter that you find on Fiverr. So like I get where they're at. They don't necessarily know we exist. So, hey, here we are. Call Lexicon. We can help.
No, for sure. Do you mind if we backtrack a bit? You obviously went to college, you wanted to become an attorney, and then you decided to pivot. How come?
Well, let's go back even further. I was a professional cellist prior to going to law.
That's awesome. I would not have guessed that. That's super cool, though.
Yes. Yeah. I was studying for the bar exam after law school and I started writing content. This was 2009. I'm going to date myself here, but this was 2009 and horrible market. Not a great law student. So I like the offers weren't rolling in on legal work. And I started writing during bar study. I started writing content for a small agency that no longer exists in the St. Louis market where I'd gone to law school. And my stuff was like ranking really quickly, like first page, top ranking, right? And like I like writing, and I think I've always been a decent writer. I mean, a good writer, I should say. I'll own that. I'm a good writer. And while waiting for bar results and all this, I quickly realized that there was a huge market for this. Again, this is 2009. This is like the wild west of content marketing, and this is back when keyword stuffing was like still kind of a thing, but on its way out. SEO was not nearly as sophisticated as today. And I realized pretty quick, like, okay, so if this agency needs me, there probably are tons of agencies in the country that needs this service. Law firms need this service, and I don't have to be licensed in 50 states to grow this business, nationwide, because I'm not practicing law. Like I'm using the JD, right? I'm trading on the degree that I just got. Like I have the skills to make this happen, and I saw like a big market opportunity. And also there's another part of the story. When at that small agency I was at, one day the SEO specialist calls me and goes, "Hey Dave, I'm going out on my own. I'm going to need a content vendor." And I tell Chris Dreyer of Rankings, I go, "I don't know what that means, man, but like let's give it a try." Next thing I know, so they blew up. So they dragged us with us, right? Dragged us with them, I should say. Like, we hitched our wagon to the right horse, so to speak. So like we had a initial partner that grew the business really quickly and created infrastructure for us to, it's the kind of thing with business. Like you do it once, sort rinse and repeat. So we organically became a white label industry partner to this agency, and other agencies needed us as well.
Yeah, I feel like from my perspective, the end goal for most people when going to college is to earn the money that they want to earn. If you can earn the revenue without going to college, then by all means, like do that. Like that's the path that I chose. I got into sales immediately, did not go to college. But it sounds to me like what you're articulating here is I found a huge market gap. I can fill the freaking gap and make pretty decent money. Why would I not do that? You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, I was making more money than my friends who were practicing law like a year into business. And
You know
And
what
I
I mean?
left St. Louis and I live in Breckenridge, Colorado. It's beautiful. Like it's a beautiful place, right? And like law practice is really geographically oriented for a lot of people. Like you get to know the courts, you get to be known in your community. And I think there's for even very successful lawyers, there are golden handcuffs often in terms of like where you set up your practice, right? Like, and I'd grown up in I didn't want to live there necessarily, but I ended up getting a big scholarship to go to law school there. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like I have no regrets about my decision. Also, I had an entrepreneurial streak because like trying to make ends meet as a cellist, like a freelance musician,
So funny.
like that was hustle, man. Like I'm putting up flyers in the music stores like for cello lessons, right? Like and like getting on the phone and trying to get gigs. So like I think a lot of people who go straight from high school to college to professional school or graduate school or not or whatever have never really had that hustle. had
Mm.
to hustle to make ends meet. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't understand that they can just go offer a product or service and ask people for money. Like, don't get me wrong, there's more to it than that, like forming an LLC and tax compliance, etc. But fundamentally, like, just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Hang up a shingle.
No, absolutely. In sales at a young adolescent age like that, late teens, early 20s,
Yep.
teaches you so much about yourself, life, grit, like you're
Yeah.
describing, hustle, you know?
Yep. Yep.
I got into insurance sales at 18 years old. Did that for about a year, year and a half. I was cold calling, hitting the phones. It sucked. I'm not gonna
Smile
lie.
and dial. Smile and
Exactly.
dial.
Mile
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually found my way into door-to-door solar sales. Did that for about 2.5 years. It was okay, but again, taught me a lot about sales, taught me a lot about myself, overcoming objections, getting
Sure.
comfortable with speaking.
Getting a thick skin.
Really thick skin, exactly.
Yep.
Then I was like, there has to be a better way. I'm sick of knocking on doors. And then I obviously started my agency. Now, been doing this for like six years. So that's how I got into this space. But anyways, how is it, if you don't mind describing, the dynamic with a husband and wife business?
Well,
I
we
ask
don't.
because it is a dream or fantasy of mine to actually have that, but I wanna hear, like, your perspective, like.
It's okay. There's really great things and really bad things, just like everything in life, right? Like, so, disclaimer: we don't have kids, so that does change the dynamic. The business is kind of our baby, right? Like, that's
That's how
kind
I.
of the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So the good things. Let me start with the good things. The good things are our interests are completely aligned, right? Like if I said, "Hey, let's get out of Breck. Let's move to Paris for a while. Let's go check it out." Like we could literally go do that. And as a quick aside, I love working from Europe because you're 8 hours ahead. 7 hours ahead of New York, I think, right? Like everyone's sleeping while you're working, and then they get up and you have meetings in your afternoon. I might have an Aperol spritz in my hand. You can't judge me. It's after 5,
Right, right,
right?
right.
Right. Anyway, that's the good thing. Interest being aligned. Also, just the ability to like talk with your partner about like deeply about where the business is going and like be aligned on that and strategize together. Like that's been really fun. And it's been fun to grow something together. Right. The bad stuff, and I like, yeah, I'll get into this. It's difficult to work with someone like I can't direct my wife is COO and she directs operations, right? I'm CEO, so my role has to do with business development, getting our name out there, doing this kind of stuff. I do owner-led sales a bit. I also direct our sales team. But of course, like as CEO, there are things about operations that like I might not like and I might like not agree with, right? And like I cannot direct my wife to be like, this is the way we're doing it. You know what I mean? Like that's not gonna go well. Like Aaron would not be happy about that. So like there's got like sometimes there's a bit of a I'm gonna say like a power vacuum. Not no, that's the wrong way to put it. Like sometimes like a big decision needs to be made and we disagree. And as a result, the decision doesn't get made and like no one owns the final, this is how we're doing it sort of thing. Right. So like there have been hiccups in business growth because decisions that need to be made one way or the other don't get made because like no one has a final say. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that being challenging because at the same time, you want to do what you think is best for the business, but you also
100%.
don't wanna, like, offend your partner or, like, make your partner upset.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, that's absolutely correct. And like
If it was a business partner, like a male or even a female business partner, it's like,
totally different. Totally
exactly,
different.
"Fuck you,
Totally
my
different.
way, highway, you're
That's
done." But then, like, your wife or your husband, it's like, "I love them," you know?
we don't have we can't have that conversation. Like there's not my way or the highway. Or like I'm not gonna be like, you're fired and we're getting a divorce. Like that's not you know what I mean? Like that's not happening.
For
So
sure.
like there's just yeah, there's decisions have to be made in tandem. Like there's everything is there are big decisions that are not every decision. There are big decisions that are made by committee, and making decisions by committee is inherently inefficient. Do you see what I mean? I think that's the best way to put it. When you've got two people that have to make a decision together and you got to get on the same page about it, that can be a lot harder than, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm in the wrong. I admit it. Like I don't know everything about business. Like, but sometimes even making the wrong decision is better than not making a decision at all in the business. Because go down the wrong path, realize you fucked up, turn around and then make the right one, but at least make the fucking decision, right?
'Cause
I hope.
you can learn. You
Yeah,
can
that's
cut.
right.
That's like I said,
I'm
totally
like
fine.
this one's getting R-rated quick.
It's good, I love it. Let's see, okay, circling back to business, imagine
Yeah,
that I am an attorney and I
yeah.
live in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay,
What are some things that you would probably help me with in order to rank, first page of personal injury attorney?
sure. Some of the ranking factor. So first of all, we would do keyword research and look at like what the competition is doing and who's ranking well and why they're ranking well, looking at backlinks and looking at content. Not that we do backlinks, but like that's part of the analysis. What would we do? We would create content generally. Targeted content. So the more I don't know if you follow, are you like a Google watcher? Do you pay attention to what Google's doing? Okay. So last week they had an event. I'm tripping over myself. I'm going to back up. We would create content in a conversational way that targets keywords that people are actually searching for. A combination of high volume, high competition keywords, but also lower volume, long tail keywords. Those are the keywords that are lower volume, easier to rank for, but often have higher user intent. So like if someone searches car accident attorney Salt Lake City, they might be me doing research. They might be a person who got in a car accident. They might also be a law student who's looking to get an interview, right? If someone searches, do I need a car accident attorney in Salt Lake City after a crash? They want an attorney. So these are higher intent. So we create content targeting different sets of keywords, whether that's blog content, updating your existing content, etc. A thing too that we're really leaning into hard is creating content that sort of follows a map of a searcher's journey with AI. AI has changed the way people search. Like I was talking about this on a podcast just the other day. I think being good at Googling was a thing 10 years ago. Like learning, do you know what I mean? Like learning how to this is a result I want. What keywords should I use to find this? Searches have become much more conversational because these AI platforms, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, or AI overviews and AI mode, I should say, in Google, which I'm going to go back to that. People are having conversations with AI now. They're like, who's a good lawyer? What do they charge? Right? Do they have good reviews? Are they good standing with the bar? I'm just making up questions as they go.
Sure.
Because people are having, rather than doing a search and getting static results and like clicking through the top 10 blue links, they're actually talking to AI in a way that we would talk about it. So the content on your website, if you want these platforms to surface your law firm or your business generally, your content has to respond to these secondary and tertiary questions that people are asking and going down a conversational route. So we're creating content that's more conversational. Go ahead, please.
Well, I was gonna ask, how would you do that from a content marketing perspective? And I'll add this one thing. Some random statistic out there that those looking up buyer or search terms, search queries inside of LLMs, they have like a 400% times or 4x
I saw that.
higher probability of like actually converting because of like
Converting it.
really, really there. Yeah. But anyways, how do you create more conversational content?
So, I mean, a lot of it's like structural, right? Like I don't want to get too technical on it, but like using a lot of subheadings on the content page that like using an FAQ format, for example, like using, and these aren't new tactics. Like this is what we were doing 10 years ago to get people into featured snippets, which if you don't know, those were like if you asked a question, Google would surface an answer that was a 0-click result that would show the source of it, but it would be like, what is the statute of limitations for personal injury in Utah? 2 years, I think it is off the top of my head. I don't know. But it would just give you the answer on the top of the page without having to click on a result. That's what a featured snippet was. Well, we're in featured snippets 2.0. AI mode is just a instantly generated featured snippet rather than being static, right? So we're doing the same sort of stuff in a piece of content using a bunch of header tags, H2s, H3s that Google looks at differently than regular text. And like we will use AI to generate a list of questions. What would a car accident victim want to know? And then answer those questions fully in the content in a way that is designed to get them to surface when the question is asked again into AI. I'm sorry, into Google or AI. And in filling out and answering those questions, it's almost like filling out a form. That's why I said that. In answering those questions, we're using our clients, again, experience, expertise, authority, and trust, those 4 signals, we are using our clients' identifiers and the things that are unique about their firms and their practice and themselves as attorneys, we're putting that in that content to get it to be more likely to surface to that query in the future.
Got you.
That was long-winded.
No, you're totally good. And I think this is like a copywriting principle, but whenever you're writing copy, like a sales letter or an advertisement, whatever, it's almost as if you're having a conversation with one person and you'll state something, they'll have a question with whatever the hell you just stated, and then you'll answer that question with like the next thing that you say. Is that kind of what you're referring to when the conversation or content is more? Yeah.
You said it much better than I did. Thank you.
You're good, you're good. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. You brought up something earlier that was you said, "Let's go down that rabbit hole," but I forgot what the freaking thing was. Do you know what it was? It was about was it refreshing blogs or refreshing your
Sure, yeah, totally. So, first of all, Google puts out guidance, and it put out guidance for the first time ever, a little 4 years too late, about how to optimize content for AI search. And like it did like a myth busting section,
Okay.
and people have been so like the industry, the SEO industry has 4 years now been trying to figure out for good with good reason, how the hell do we get people in the AI results? And some of the things that people have been talking about are the importance of schema markup, structured data, chunking content, and this is kind of what I was referring to with like the H2 headers and creating FAQ content, like chunks of content, like ask a question, answer the question in a chunk.
Right, right, right.
Google's guidance, the myth busting section, is basically like just stop worrying about all this create good content. Google knows people are gaming the system and has an incentive to get people to stop gaming the system. I mean, it does, right? Like it wants to surface the best content it can to its users, but then like people like SEOs and people like us, content marketers, like, okay, but fine, I don't want to game it, but how do I do this the best way? I want to move the needle for my clients. The rabbit hole is Google says one thing and then does another. Like I have posted a piece of content without, it says structured data isn't that important. It's not more important than it used to be. I've posted a piece of content without structured data, waited a week, added schema markup, structured data to it a week later. Boom, it's in the AO overviews. Similarly, like, oh, it's one of the myth busting things was do not refresh content for AI search specifically. It says that in the guidance. That's fine. Don't do it. But I've seen it work where content freshness is a big factor in getting yourself in the AI overviews. Like I've posted a piece of content, 6 hours later, it's in the AI overviews because it's new and then it falls off. Now, what that means to me as a content marketer is that we should constantly be putting out new content or tweaking our existing content. Like if you have content with statistics from 2024, go in there, clean it up, and add a fresh statistic from 2026. It's probably going to surface it at the top. So like Google's telling you not to do this, but like the truth is it's working to do it, right? But it should work to do it because Google again wants to surface the best content it can, and fresher content with fresh information is going to be more relevant to users than older content, you know?
It's just so interesting how they say one thing, but then their best practices are another, or what actually gets results is another.
100%. You know, another thing about that too is I wanted to get into the earlier and I didn't about EEAT. Information gain is one thing we're seeing working a lot. So because these LLMs are producing content that is by design generic and is by design based on the corpus of information it's ingested, giving Google or the LLMs any new data to work with gets content like that's a big ranking factor that we're seeing working to get people to the top of the results. Like give us some new information because like everyone's starved for it because we're all pumping out the same shit over and over and over again, right? And I don't mean that a law firm needs to go out there and commission a study on like a deep academic study into like car accident statistics. What that means is like if no one's done the math of how many more or fewer accidents there were in Utah between 2024 and 2025, do that math. That little bit, like that simple arithmetic, that delta in car accidents is new information that Google is going to want to surface, right? Like this is a really simplistic example, but you can do this with anything. And your state agencies pump out data all the time. Just go to like utah.dot.gov. I don't know what it is. You're going to see all kinds of statistics probably broken down into trucks, cycles, and I'm just talking about personal injury. You could do this for divorce. You could do this for bankruptcy. You could do it for any practice area. Go get government statistics, seek new data. In other words, look at the change in statistics year to year, publish it. You're adding new information to the online conversation, and that can help you get surfaced.
I love that. That is great advice, actually. Do you feel like you get better results for different, practices or different, I guess, attorney sectors at that?
Practice areas?
Thank you.
No, no, we get good results for everyone. That being said, like I think I'm answering your question. We work most of our clients are personal injury. And I think that's just by virtue of it being the most heavily marketed. Like, you know, you drive down the street, you see the billboards. Like, you know, it is the most heavily marketed area of law. That being said, we work in any consumer facing practice area. So we work with bankruptcy attorneys, we work with family law attorneys, we work with small business attorneys, we work with intellectual property attorneys. So like we're all over the place. But personal injury probably makes up about 60% of our work.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then when it comes to other SEO agencies partnering with you guys for the white label services, do they typically find you for that?
Depends. Like I've been pretty heavily on the conference circuit for 3 years now, and that has really gotten us a lot of clients. Just meeting people. I don't think people sit down and say white label content marketing for law firms, right? We do rank number one for that term.
As you should though, right? As you should.
We should. We should. I mean, we have competitors in the space. There's one company in our space that is like basically a clone of our business, but there aren't. There are tons of copywriting agencies. That's fundamentally what we are, but a highly specialized one. So, people go to Verblio and then they come to us. Verblio is huge. People go to Proofed and then they come to us. So these are much bigger companies than us. But long and short, they'll find us. Like we had an inquiry yesterday from an agency guy who actually did Google white label legal content. I was happy that he Googled it. Yeah, it was funny. But the conference has really moved the needle. And like that was something that I think was a big mistake that we made for our first decade in business. Like
Mistake, not go.
not going. So like we've been fully remote since the inception of the business. Never had a physical office. We do keep a virtual office down in Denver. But because we're inherently an internet-based company, like we do internet services, internet marketing services, like I thought for a long time that just kind of like the LinkedIn networking you do and like just like getting a reputation in the space by working with a big agency, like would get us clients. And I was wrong because the first conference I went to, like I'll tell a quick anecdote.
For sure.
There's a large agency in our space that I had been working on for years, man. I'm talking about 5 years. I'm emailing this guy. I get his cell phone number from a mutual connection. I'm texting him. I'm
Good job.
LinkedIning him. I'm LinkedIning him every quarter. I'm liking his LinkedIn posts. I'm commenting. Hi, I'm Dave Arato. Here I am, right? We can help you. We can help you. And like this is a huge company. Actually, they just got acquired. But long and short, I go to a conference. I see him. I introduce myself. We have a vodka tonic. Hang out for a minute. We're doing business the next day. The next day, right? Like I think I convinced myself that like, and the fucked up thing is I love traveling too. Like I love to travel. So like why, what it was for me, it was like, I'm looking at these legal conferences are expensive. I'm looking at the ticket prices. I'm like, $25 for the ticket, another, $1,500 for the nice hotel the conference is happening at for 2 nights or something, 3 nights maybe. The flight, I'm like, I'm in $5,000 on this thing. Even though it's a business expense, like why am I going to spend $5,000
For a
to
week.
go drink vodka tonics with people in my industry? Well, I'll tell you why I'm going to do it because it's going to make me $500,000. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like that was a mistake that I made. I think like it was hard for me to wrap my head around for a long time, looking at as truly as an investment rather than like this will be fun to go rub shoulders with people in the industry. Like I wouldn't spend $5,000 on a weekend for myself. Maybe I would in Europe. But you get the idea. Like
Percent.
it sounds like a lot of money for one person to spend for a trip for themselves for 3 days. But it's a business expense. And like the power of in-person networking is more important than it's ever been, especially now because AI can send 500 emails to 500 prospects. I get these emails every single day. Hey, I happen to be in Breckenridge. Do you like that coffee shop at the end of town? La Friend says, you're not in Breckenridge. No one happens to be in Breckenridge. I live 2.5 hours from the Denver airport. You don't happen to be coming through, right?
Right,
So
right, right. Those are really funny, those AI personalizations.
totally. I love that coffee shop. You don't know that coffee shop. Anyway,
Brad Lee, I think, said this. Do you know that name at all?
sorry, I don't.
Brad Lee, no worries. Anyways, he basically says the more hands you shake, the more money you make.
100%.
And you can definitely testify to that. And I will agree that networking online is one thing, but shaking hands in person, laughing with someone, getting the vibe, getting the energy from that person is a whole different ballgame. Like, as soon as you shake someone's hand, like trust has been built. Like you're in real life, you're in person. How are you? How are you? You know what I mean? It's just a night and day networking experience for sure.
Two things. A really great salesperson I know said to me once, the hardest thing to get rid of is a body. It's a little morbid, but it's true. In other words, like go show up. They can hang up the phone, they can delete your email, but like they can't get you out of their office.
Yeah, I see. Okay, that's good. That's good.
The other thing is, I think the old adage is true. Like people do business with people who they know, like, and trust, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it's just real. It's real. Buddies with someone and you have a relationship, and like some of my business acquaintances have turned into real friends and some are still business acquaintances, but all of it started with an angle. You know what I mean? Like but like ultimately if someone likes you and wants and has hung out with you and has dinner with you quarterly because you see them at conferences and you guys hang out and hit the town wherever you're in, right? Like a lot of my stuff happens in Vegas, so like we'll go to the conference and go out for a night, whatever. Like those are the people I'm doing business with because they like hanging out with me and I like hanging out with them. And like, if there's an other vendor and offering them the same thing at the same price, even if it's the same quality, which I don't think it is, but even if it were completely fungible, they would do business with me because they know and like me. You know what I mean?
100%, absolutely. Dan, we'll end on, these 2 questions here. Number 1 is best piece of advice you've received, whether it's personal or business?
Oh man.
I know.
Oh man, that's really hard. Let's go back. Let's come back to that one. Let's do number 2 first.
Where can they find you?
Okay. I mean, I'm going to go back to what I just said. Business advice. I'm going to stick to this, and it's top of mind because I just said it. But the thing I said about people do business what they know, like, and trust. Like, I worked. This client is a huge client of ours, the one I mentioned from this conference earlier. Like, I wanted networking to just be enough. I wanted it to be that, but it's not. And like that piece of business advice has changed our business for the better. Like, go show up at the place and do the thing and talk to the people. Right. So I'm just going to go back to that because it's top of mind. Where can people find me?
Yeah.
David at lexiconlegalcontent.com. I'm all over social. I'm super easy to find and I'm super responsive. So if anyone needs any help with their content or just wants to talk business, I'm happy to do it.
David, thank you so much for hopping on, man. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, this
Thanks
is
so
great, Jordan. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Alright, audience. Talk soon.